Okay, I've got my mini wing dragging out here again. I have my dime taped to the nose, and I have the trim pulled out of the elevator. So we've got wind at 3 to 4 again. Supposed to get up to 5 to 6 before noon. So let's see if we can beat the wind and give us another little test flight. I launched that at 60% throttle. Let's get it over here and see what we have. I must be going into the wind because it's nosing up. Pull it down to cruising speed and see what we have. Now, it still seems a little nose heavy, even with the dime taped to the front. I have a 360 milliamp hour 1S LiPo in there this morning. Ooh, just missed the truck. And this little plane, even though you wouldn't think it would, but it will tip stall on you if you go too slow. It's not real dramatic, but it will tip stall. So yeah, it still looks to me like it's a little nose heavy, even with the weight of a dime on the front. And I did look it up again, and a dime weighs 2.27 grams. So, man, I don't know. You might need 4 grams of weight on the nose. I wish I had dead calm wind so I could test it out a little bit better, but I don't get that here. Yeah? 3 to 4 is about as good as it gets. But it still looks like it's dropping the tail, does it not? Less so when it's going downwind than when it's going upwind, or when it's going crosswind, it doesn't drop the tail as much. But when it's going into the wind, it noses up. I think I've got it going directly into the wind there. Flies very well, just needs a little more nose weight. So, oh, you know what I did? I brought a dime, I brought a penny, and I brought a nickel. So, I think what I'm going to do, I think the dime is the lightest one. I think what I'm going to do is put on this next flight, I'm going to put a nickel on the nose. I forgot. I brought a lot of coinage with me today, so I came prepared. So I am going to put a nickel on the nose. I can't remember the weight of a nickel. I didn't look that one up. But I know it's heavier than a dime. And I think it's heavier than a penny. So we will check that out too. As a matter of fact, let's just go ahead and land it. You want to? Just go ahead and land it and put the nickel on it and throw it in the air again, because this thing is so easy on voltage. I couldn't believe I flew it around for 5 minutes and something the other day and still had nearly 4.1 volts in the cell. So let's see if we can bring it in. Well, not there. Let's bring it on. I know. Let's bring it in on the road. Since I would have to come across a slow dirt lane, there's a little chance of actually hitting it. Yeah. Hell, there's probably a little chance of me hitting this one, and it's a big road. There we go. That wasn't pretty, but it's tail heavy. It's my excuse. All right, so let's go ahead and put a nickel on it and throw it back in the air and see if that takes care of the tail heavy issue. I will see you in a minute. Okay, so I have my nickel on there now, and I just left everything powered up because this thing will fly forever on a 1S LiPo. So let's get it in the air again. Well, I believe that is much better. I believe the weight of a nickel is much, much better. Now let me throttle back a little bit so it stops climbing. This is like one of those 2-channel planes. You want to go higher, you just throttle up. You don't have to do anything else. Give it a little rudder, get her turned around here. Yeah, that to me looks like it's a lot more level. Look how slow coming into the wind here. Now, turn away from the wind. Yeah, I like the weight of the nickel better. I reset my timer too, so we're gonna go 5 minutes here. I don't know. You know what I think? I think maybe I better try a penny. Now when I'm making my turns, seems like it might be, I don't know. I'll have to put some time on it with a nickel and see. And if I feel like that's too much weight for the nose, I'll put my penny on there. Maybe the penny will be the Goldilocks, so you never know. But doesn't that look a lot more level to you when I'm coming through here? Doesn't that look a lot more level? So I'm flying around it. I'm increasing, decreasing throttle, you know, as I'm coming into the wind and going downwind, but I'm keeping it around 45 to 50% throttle right now. Oh, see? Did you hear that? That was that anomaly I was talking about, where all of a sudden I just lost power. The motor started idling down. It didn't shut off, but it just started idling down. And so I pulled the throttle stick all the way back and then pushed it back up again, and all of a sudden I have full power again. It just did it again. Okay, here. So hear that? So I pulled the throttle stick down again, and now I've got full power. It'll keep doing this now. Some flights it will do this, and some flights it won't. But wow, she's climbing. But that is so weird. They did it again. Now I have full power again. That is too weird. I'm glad it did it so I could actually show you on camera the anomaly that I was talking about with this F949 brick. I don't know if it's a glitchy ESC. I don't know if it's a glitch in the protocol for this brick. I don't know. I just know it's really annoying. There it goes again. And now I got full power again. Just dropping the throttle to 0 and then picking it back up again. It's almost as if it's completely lost my throttle stick calibration. You know? Like it there it is again. It's almost like it can't tell where my throttle stick is until I push it all the way down and come back up again. It's like it's losing my throttle position. That's what it seems like to me. I don't know if that's a receiver issue. I don't know if it's an ESC issue. I don't know if it is a protocol issue. All I know, it just did it again. All I know is it is an issue. And I don't like it. Weird though, huh? And it's not consistent. It does. Sometimes I can fly around for 5-6 minutes, never have a problem. And there it went again. There it went again. Okay, so Alright, so let's bring it back around and land it, but I am glad that I was able to demonstrate that issue. That doesn't make any sense to me. Let's walk back over here at the road so I can actually see it. Gliding, gliding, gliding. Sweet! Okay, so I like the nickel on it. I think that's good. Might try, I don't know. I might try a penny on it just to see. But I definitely like the weight of the nickel better than the dime. It seemed to do less of the nose up stuff, even when I was going into the wind with the weight of the nickel on the front, on the front. And that was with the 360 milliamp hour LiPo in it. So, if you got a heavier battery, you probably need to reduce that weight a little bit. But the weight of the nickel, and I'll see you back at the HQ, and then I'll give you the weight of the nickel. But I have to look it up. But that seemed to perform pretty well with that amount of nose weight, and I took all the trim out of my elevator, so I don't have any trim in anything right now with this plane. No trim whatsoever. And that seemed to handle pretty well. So, like I said, if anybody knows what could be causing this issue where it seems to be losing my throttle position, post and let me know. But I'll see you back at the HQ. Oh, before I let you go, I just put a fresh battery in it, another 360 milliamp hour. I think the wind has completely shifted on me. I wanted to test the glide on this before I let you go, if I can climb with it without this throttle anomaly. So let's get it in the air. So what I want to try to do is just kind of corkscrew up, you know. See if I can gain some altitude. I've got it at about 90% throttle right now. And let's climb a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to bring it back. I don't know what direction the wind is coming from up there. Okay, so I have the throttle completely off. I'm just using aileron to guide it. Alright, now I'm in the throttle. It has a pretty decent glide, but I can't tell what direction the wind is coming. I can't tell what direction the wind is coming from up there. Let's try it again. Let's try it the opposite direction this time. I'm have to cross the sun. Okay. Cut the throttle. Gliding, 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 gliding. All right, I'm putting throttle back in. That's a pretty nice little glide on it. I think I might try a little less nose weight. I think I might try a penny rather than a nickel, just to see, because I think the glide should be a little more shallow on that than it was. Oh, got a dog over here. There he goes. You grab my plane, doggy. Okay, so now, and it's weird I haven't had that anomaly yet, but I've been right at 50% throttle or higher, during the vast majority of this flight, and it really seems to happen more when I'm below 50% throttle than if I'm 50% or higher. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. It seems that way to me. Okay, so let's glide it in. Ah! I think I got competing winds in it here. But anywho, no anomaly that time, huh? But when I was climbing, I was in the throttle about 90% the whole time, so I was pushing it pretty hard. And then I cut the throttle completely off and was gliding around, and then I applied power, and I think I was right at 50% or higher for most of that little flight, and never had that anomaly. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not. But anyway, okay, I'm back out here with the Eachine Mini Wing Dragon. I'm doing more nose weight testing on it. I've run out of coinage. I've tested a nickel, I've tested a dime, and now I've got a penny on the nose. I ran out of 360 milliamp hour LiPo, so I've got a 380 in it. I don't know if there's any difference in weight, because if you hold them side by side, they look identical in size. But I will weigh those when I get back to the HQ and give you the weight of the penny and any weight difference on those two LiPos. But anyway, let's see if we can get it in the air. What direction is my wind coming from now? That's the question. Hopefully I don't have that power anomaly. That looks pretty good, I have to say. Hitting a little wind there. The wind, it comes and it goes. A few minutes ago I had wind of 5 to 8 gusting to 10. I tell ya, it feels pretty good in the turns too. You know, it kind of wanted to nose down on me a little bit with the penny. I mean, with the nickel, and I think we have a winner. Put some rudder in her to get her to turn here. How slow. Yeah, I think the weight of that penny feels pretty darn good. Getting some sporadic wind out here. That's what's causing this plane to behave a little funny there. It's getting pushed around quite a bit. But the weight of that penny feels good. Look at that. That looked pretty nice and smooth in the turn. Now, like I said, with the nickel weight, which is heavier, it seemed to want to nose down a little bit in the turns. I had to apply more elevator, and I'm barely touching the elevator now when I make a turn. So yeah, I think I like the weight of the penny for sure. Yeah, that's pretty nice and smooth. Except for the air. Except for the wind. Sweet. Penny it is. Yeah, I think if there wasn't any wind out here right now, that would be so uber smooth. Look at that. Doesn't that look good now? Let me bring it back through here. Doesn't that look better? You know, from the attitude of the plane. See that? Yeah, that looks a lot more level. It's not dropping that tail like it was a little bit with the dime. That's pretty nice and level there. Sweet. I think that has got it. I think I've got good balance on this now. It's very well behaved in manual mode. And like I said, if I had calm wind out here, I think that thing would just be flying around like it was on a rail. Sweet. Okay, so let's land it and let's put another battery in it. Okay, let's not land it. Now let's see if we can land it. Oh yeah, no, I definitely like that nose weight. That's pretty sweet. And no motor anomaly on that flight. Did you notice that? A full flight without the motor anomaly? Now, it's like I said, it doesn't happen every time. That was a nice smooth flight, except for just a little bit of wind. All right, let's put another battery pack in it and test it out some more. See you in a minute. Okay, test flight number 2 with the penny weight. Let's see where my wind's coming from now. I think that's got it. Oh yeah, that's definitely where the wind is. Okay, so I launched that. I think a good throttle setting for this, well, with the motor and prop that I have on it, because I have a 65mm prop on this 1020 motor. But so 60% throttle for me with my power system here, my motor and prop, and just a light chuck, and it takes right off. And I think I really like the weight of the penny on it. That seems to work really, really well as far as balance. That's me playing with the throttle. Trying to throttle back when it's getting into the wind, but look at that. See how level it is now compared to where it was before. And I have absolutely no trim in this plane whatsoever. Like I said, the only thing that I had to do was put a little bit of sub trim in the ailerons to get the ailerons squared up on the plane, and that was it. You believe how nicely this flies in manual mode? That was me playing with the throttle again. Hitting some wind.
3 minutes.
But yeah, it's going into the wind again now. Look. The only reason it was drifting there is because it was getting pushed by the wind. I think if it was a dead calm day, this plane would be flying straight and level like it was on a gyro. Me playing with the throttle again. But this is awesome. I mean, this thing, even in manual mode, this is, you get the nose weight, get the balance correct on it, and it's just, it's a piece of cake to fly around, even in a little bit of wind. Like, so we got about 3 to 4 mile an hour wind out here right now. I didn't know if I was going to be able to put it back in the air, because before the previous flight with this, testing this nose weight, I was getting wind gusting up to 10 mile an hour, 5 to 8 gusting to 10, and then all of a sudden it quit. So I was getting ready to pack it up and head out. But yeah. Very little elevator in the turns. Much better behaved plane when you've got the correct balance on it, I'll tell you that. Look at that. Doesn't that look good now? I'm liking it. And I haven't had that motor anomaly yet. You think I'll get 2 in a row? You definitely take this little plane to a park somewhere and fly it around, and indoor in a gymnasium in the wintertime. That's sweet. That's a very well behaved plane once you get the balance on it.
20 seconds.
So like I said before, you do need to put some rudder in it to get a nice smooth turn out of it. Did you see how close I got to the truck there? Yeah, eventually I'm going to run a plane into the truck, I have no doubt. I can't believe I haven't done it yet. Okay, let's bring it back around and land it, and then I'll see you guys back at the HQ and give you the weight of the penny, see if there's any difference in weight between the 360 milliamp. Wow, that thing is just floating. I'm gonna have to go around again. Next time I bring it out, now that I've got the balance right where I want it, when I bring it back out again, hopefully with a little less wind, we will do another glide test on it. Man, I'm gonna have to glide it in from there, I think. Look at that. I'm just gliding. Sweet. That is awesome. All right, and did you notice I had 2 full 5-minute flights on it this time without that anomaly happening? So I don't know what's causing it, but it's obviously not the motor and the prop, I don't think, pulling too many amps. I don't think that's the case, especially with the voltage I have in the batteries after I get done with a flight. So anyway, I hope I can figure that out. I'll have to do some research on it. But I will meet you back at the HQ. I'll show you exactly where I've got my counterweight. We'll see if there's any difference in weight between the 360 and 380 1S LiPos. And if you want your plane well balanced, I think this one is right on the Goldilocks zone now. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so what did you think of those test flights? Now, with that American penny on there, and that 380 milliamp hour one cell LiPo, did that not fly extremely well? Did that not look almost perfectly balanced? I was surprised. So anyway, before I give you, when I came back, I left the weight where I had it. I put my 380 milliamp hour LiPo back in the plane, and I checked to see where the plane balanced at a neutral balance. So rather than you guys having to mess with different weights, different size LiPos,
I will give you information here in a minute on where I have the neutral CG on this plane when I had it balanced with that penny on the front and the 380 milliamp hour lipo. So that if you guys can set your balance for that CG point and go out and test flight and see what you think. You may not like that balance. You may like it a little nose heavy. I like a very neutral balance on a plane. But go out and test it and see what you think. And then you can always add nose weight to it if you would rather the nose be a bit heavier. But anyway, oh, and you got to see the throttle anomaly. Now let me see, I had 5 different flights, and if I remember correctly, and I probably don't, but I think that only happened during one flight. I think that all the rest of the time I didn't have any issues with that, you know, the plane decreasing the power on the motor, never shutting the motor off, but I would have to pull the stick down and push it back up, and I would have full power again. And I kept it in the air the whole time. It's just very annoying. But I was glad that it happened when I was out flying it, so you guys could see what was going on, what I was talking about. But the vast majority of the time, it flew fine. I had no power issues. It was absolutely fantastic. So I don't know what's going on with that. And when I was climbing, you know, because I know some folks think that it's the 1020 motor and the 65 millimeter prop just pulling too many amps. Okay, so when I was climbing to do the glide test, I was at 90% throttle for how long? How long did it take me to corkscrew up to get high enough before I started that? And I had it at 90% throttle the whole time. And yet, the motor never reduced power, not once. So I don't think this 1020 motor and the 65 millimeter prop are pulling too many amps. That's the hardest that I have pushed this plane so far since I put that motor and prop on there with the F949 brick. And it kept climbing, kept climbing, kept climbing. I didn't have a single problem with the motor cutting out or reducing power on that flight, even though I was at 90% throttle for a very long time. So no, I don't think that's what's going on. But anyway, the weight of the dime, the American dime, is 2.39 grams. Oh, it's with the tape. I also weighed it with the tape. You got to include the tape. So the dime with the tape was 2.39 grams. The weight of the penny with the tape was 3.21 grams. The weight of the nickel with the tape was 5.13 grams. Okay, now, when I was testing it with the nickel, if I remember correctly, I was testing it with the 1S 360 milliamp hour lipo. And when I was testing it with the penny, I was using a 380 milliamp hour lipo. The weight of the 360 lipo was 9.94 grams, and there is a difference in weight. The 380 milliamp hour 1S lipo was 11.39 grams. It's almost a gram and a half heavier. I was really surprised because they look identical. The dimensions look identical, but it's a gram and a half heavier. You need to consider that, you know, when you use a larger capacity battery in these planes, because it doesn't take much to throw them off balance. Okay, so then I was curious. The total weight with the lighter weight lipo but the heavier coin, and the heavier lipo but the lighter weight coin, just out of curiosity. So the weight of the 360 milliamp hour lipo and the nickel, the lighter lipo and the heavier coin, was 15.07 grams, including the weight of the tape. The weight of the 380 milliamp hour 1S lipo, the heavier lipo, but with the penny, the lighter coin, was 14.6 grams. There's only 0.47 grams difference between the total weight of those two lipos and those two coins, and yet, even though there's only 0.47 grams difference in the weight, it made a difference in the balance of the plane. And you saw it. You saw it. You saw it flying with the nickel, you saw it flying with the dime, you saw it flying with the penny with a heavier battery. So it doesn't take much to change the balance on this plane. But I think for my flying style, the way I like the plane balance, that's perfect for me. I like it that way. It's an excellent flying plane. Full manual mode, no gyro, and I like that nose weight. I like it. Okay, so now forget everything I just told you regarding these weights. Where I have my CG balance is right on the wing spar. So if I hold this plane, I put my fingers under there, okay, that's my balance on the plane. A neutral balance on the plane on that CG right on top of the wing spar. That's where I like this plane balanced. So set your CG there and see what you think of it. So now that I know how this CG balances perfectly for me for this plane, what I'm going to do is get rid of this coin and this tape, and I'm going to move this lever out so that I can use less weight to get the same balance, and I'm going to put it right underneath the nose, and I'm going to leave it there. So now I just got to find something that's going to give me that perfect CG balance. So the next time I take it out, I won't have a coin strapped to the bottom of it. I'll have something embedded in the foam that you won't see, so that this plane has a perfect balance every time I take it out. So anyway, now that I have this plane balanced the way I like it, have it flying precisely the way I like it, from now on it's just going to be little fun flights and dust off flights with this one going forward. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the air.